Hey, hey, hey! We are live. I am live. We are live. We have Nicola in the house today, mixing it up this week, bringing a surprise guest every week. So, Nicola is one of our fabulous ladies who is on our review program. And it's great, isn't it? Because you know friends that I know who I used to work with, but we didn't know each other. And then I think it was one of our mutual friends said go and follow Cheryl and Donna, didn't we? And we're both from the same town in Sunderland. So it's fab that we're on the journey. We've never actually met each other, but we've got the same group of friends.
Definitely. I know it's funny. It was Jacqueline who told me about the Wealth Without the Hustle challenge. And I thought, oh, right. And she kept saying, oh, I know these two people who are really good coaches and they've set up their own business. And I think you'd really like it. And so, yeah, I was persuaded to come along and join. And then that was it. Yeah, we'll probably live about 20 minutes from each other. But so far, we haven't met in person, but I'm sure we will. Yeah.
I know it's so, I love it. It's so funny. So yes, so we thought we're still on the back of you were in Selfdoubt all out, weren't you? One of the off the challenge last week, and Nicola's been. When did you join the Real You program then?
It was towards the end of March last year.
Oh, wow, it's coming up for a year now, which is amazing. Hi, Catherine. Hey, I love your hair, by the way. So yes, it's coming up to a year. So you joined. Was that Wealth Without the Hustle? Did you the masterclass? Yes, and then signed up for the online program. So how has your journey been?
Life-changing, literally. So yeah, it's been incredible. I've just had just like the best time doing the program, although I will say it's very emotional. Just like getting into the world of you know, and just everything that you guys do is honestly opened my eyes up so much. I've done the Self-Doubt challenge twice.
Yes.
Yeah, so last week I felt like a bit of a kind of pro, but I took lots of notes and I took a lot from it. And that's a great thing because like the growth and the learning never stops. And so you're always learning new things, whether it's just in the weekly or daily, even, you know, like Facebook group posts, and then in the program itself, and then the monthly coaching calls. So yeah, the journey's just been incredible, and it came at exactly the right time for me in my life and where I was. Yeah,
because you were in a transition period, weren't you? So tell everyone what you were doing, where you're at, and now what you're doing.
Yeah, so I was coming up to redundancy. I'd worked in corporate for about 23, 24 years, and I'd been at Nike for 20 years. So obviously very long time to be with one company, and they were going through a lot of change, and the redundancies came about like really quickly. I didn't expect to be impacted at first, and then it became apparent that my job had gone and was changing. And I could have tried to stay, but there was so much transition and cutbacks. There were going to be very, very few jobs left. And because I'd been there so long, I took the really difficult decision to just not apply for jobs and accept the redundancy, which I couldn't, even that in itself, I think was kind of like the first stepping stone to the change that I've now had. So I came across you and Donna in the challenge, like I say, through a friend, and just didn't know what I was going to do when I left Nike, but had an idea of being a coach. No idea really how I was going to monetize it. That was like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And so the Wealth Without the Hustle, I felt like I was going to be hustling. That's all I really heard about before, was this mode of hustling. So yeah, when I left, I just thought, right, I'm going to start blogging about my redundancy journey, set up an Instagram account called Life After Swoosh. And in a couple of weeks, I was like, actually, I haven't really got like that much that I can share, because it was not what I thought, which was going to be, you know, the downside and the emotional aspect of leaving the company after that long and starting to look for jobs and apply for jobs. So after a few weeks, it was more about, oh, actually, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it's going to be promising. And it really got that spark. And I know it might sound really cheesy, but because I started the program at exactly the time that I was leaving, and I had time because I'd left the job. And so I just went straight into the program and filling those very first tools out about, what you were about, what was going on, what you wanted your life to be like. It was just like, I say, like the timing was right. And it just, everything kind of clicked into place. And it did take another maybe 2 or 3 months before I really could see what it was I was trying to get to. But I had so much clarity on the fact that I wanted to do something in wellness and to do still with sport, because that's what I'd been involved in at Nike. And so, it all came together. I'd signed up to become a personal trainer. So I've been doing that qualification and just finished that at the end of December. And I, now have my own business as a health and wellness coach. And it just feels incredible. And I really do believe that, like, our paths were just meant to cross them, because, like I say, I had lots of rumblings and little, stepping stones starting to form, but just couldn't bring the pieces together, because I'm sure we'll talk more about this, but where I was really low in confidence, self-belief, anxiety. A year ago, even, like starting out last year in January, I would never have dreamt of being where I am today, either having my own business and sitting here doing this live like this, because that would have scared the absolute out of us. I really would not have been able to do it. So it would just, everything started to come together.
So funny, isn't it? Like, we'll go and say hi if you're here and if this is resonating, but like, you go into a year or a month or a day and we don't really know what's going to happen, do we? And like you say, this time last year, you be in your corporate role and that's what you were doing. And we have this, what we do have, which stopped Donna and I for many years setting up our businesses, is security. We have a belief that when we work for someone else in full-time roles, it's more secure than actually having your own business. And I used to have that belief, and that's what held me back for years from setting up my own business. Same for Donna, because you've got your security of your salary. So boom, you come into your role last year in January, and then by the March, boom, you've got no job. So like, security is a belief that we have, but really, is any role that you have in employment when you want really secure? Does it come with a guarantee?
And do you know what? That's again something that I've literally astounded myself with, because I did have a good salary. I had a really good package. I had a company car, healthcare. And that was all the stuff I had to build into the mix when I knew that I wasn't going to have that job. And it was like a lightning bolt after I'd left, that I just thought, you know what? I don't give a shit, really. Like, I have to pay the bills, and I won't deny that it's not stressful. But at the same time, the feeling of empowerment and control that I had, I'd never felt anything like it, because, I'm not saying when you're an employee, you always have to feel like a puppet on a string, but that was how I felt, because I knew I wasn't in the place that I wanted to be. Although I loved my job and I loved the work, and we do have so much similarity in what you and Donna have shared in our corporate careers and how we were. I was successful, I was respected, I was looked up to, but at the same time, it wasn't me, because I liked the industry and the culture of where I work, but I didn't like the actual work and the pressure of the corporate environment on me as a person. So the relief, it's like, okay, we had to say, right, for example, we're going to have one takeaway a month instead of a couple or a few. And the same with eating out, and I've made changes. But then you realise that doesn't matter. But when I was on a paycheck, that's what I did think mattered.
I know.
But your priorities just shift so much.
It's an illusion, isn't it? And like you say, like I've been redundant 3 times, the last 3 corporate roles. And the first one was when we worked with Jackie at More Than. Like, Donna and I both had been there for 10 years, and both of our roles were made redundant. And it isn't nice, especially when you've been there. Like, at the time, Donna was running the contact centre, and I was like a second-hand woman. So we basically like ran the site, right? And then all of a sudden our roles are made redundant. It doesn't feel good. Do you know what I mean? When you like you said, you've worked there for 20 years, did you? 20 years. You do go through the emotions, don't you? So what where were you when you got made redundant? How were you feeling? And then how did you find the inner confidence to go, fuck it, I'm setting up my own business?
I think, do you know, it started something off in my mind that I thought, oh my God, this might be the first time I'm ever going to be able to just pause and discover who I am and what I want. So, you know, initially the redundancy thing freaked us out because I thought, like, oh my God, I can't go for interviews. You know, I know I'm not old, but I was coming up to 45. The thought of competing with a 25-year-old going into a room and being interviewed, literally like shaking. Thinking about, you know, writing CVs, writing letters, rejections, all the stuff that we've gone through last week in the self-doubt challenge. You know, because I thought that I wasn't worthy. I felt as though, you know, I didn't have capabilities, that I wasn't confident. So the thought of having to put myself out there on the job market was really scary. But then I actually, as I did finish, I thought, God, what the hell have I done? Do you know, it was like, starting to think about the fact I needed a car and I needed life insurance because I'd never had my own life insurance. Like, and I kept thinking, oh God, like, cost it out. I've got no money. What am I going to do? And then, like I say, I think it was just that the seeds have been sown in that actually I am 45 and I'm probably over halfway through my life. I had severe anxiety and panic for 26 years from the age of 19. And the fear that I had was about dying. But the crazy thing was that I wasn't living the life I wanted because I was so afraid of dying. Wow. And so I kind of had, like, I know it sounds really deep, but I just had this moment of complete, like, clarity of I have to live my life. I'd lost my mum not only 2 years ago. That triggered like a whole chain. I'd seen what she'd gone through and thought, I don't want to be like that. I need to live my life now. And so then starting to do all of that work at the beginning of the program, which was really deep and emotional, but at the same time very simple, was just, oh yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do it. Like, and the thing, this is the biggest thing that I've learned from the program, and I realise now it was actually already there, but I just never kind of connected with what had happened. Once you start those little seeds and something changes, the ripple effect is huge. And so it was just like very small things, and this is something I've been diving into more for my own coaching that I'm offering, is like, it might not seem much at the time and you might not feel like this change or progress, but then bam, like that, like it rippled out. So it was like literally within a few weeks, I had so many people commenting saying, God, you look so different. You're so happy. Even at the time, like my dad, my husband was saying, you're just a different person. And I was like, do you know why? Because suddenly I'm who I want to be. I can think. I'm trying to plan what it is I want to do that's going to make me happy. And it just then it grows. And that's the thing that I think I've seen with other women in the program. It's like once those little changes start to happen and then you recognize what's changed, you just then get this empowerment. And I'd never ever felt empowered ever, even though, you know, I was independent and driven, and I wanted to have a decent life and bring my daughter up experiencing nice things. I didn't really ever feel empowered. Like I say, I felt like a puppet on a string, that I was really being managed by other things, not just the company, but other things that meant like I had to just accept it and just survive. That's really how I felt. So yeah, feeling how I did initially, but then just lots of different little things all then became this big, like, of power, you know, that made me think, right, actually, yeah, this is it. Now I am actually going to try and be the person that I always wanted to be, but just it was like too far out of reach.
Oh my God, I love hearing this. And it's like you say, because people go on, like Donna put a comment. Hi, Donna. Hi, Hillary. Say anyone else is watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.
But age, right? We go, because Donna and I were 45. Well, I was 45. Donna was 44, 43 when we set up our business. But like you say, like, oh, I just like the fact that you've gone through life, like you say, with this anxiety and this not living your life for like 20 years or something, and all of a sudden you're in your mid-40s and just boom, it just shifts. Like,
Oh
what?
yeah. And it has changed everything for me, because not just with the business, but I've reevaluated everything, and I've had the strength to make some really big changes personally recently, which again I probably should have done before, but didn't have the strength and the empowerment that I have now, and the self-belief. And I shared this actually in a written testimonial for you guys, and I always remember I think it was the very first coaching call I did with you all, but with you, Cheryl, and you talked about your visioning exercise that you did, and how you would look in the mirror and you would picture yourself being a New York Times bestseller, and you would tell yourself that's who you were. And I remember having this little snigger thinking, oh God, because I've always wanted to write a book, and I was thinking, oh, she's very confident, isn't she? You know, like
What planet is she on?
and you were saying like the other things, and then literally, I'm not joking, the next day I stood in the mirror and I looked in the mirror and I was like, I am a best-selling New York author. And I was like, oh my God, you stupid cloud, you know, like what you're doing like this. But you triggered something again, and that whole exercise of visioning who you are, where you want to be, why you want to be it, feeling it. I know we did it on the group coaching not so long ago as well, and I literally had this out of body experience, and I've had a really crap couple of months. And every time I would get in that pit of despair, that's what I would do, is go back to that vision and picture it, feel it, hear it, and go, okay, it's crap today and everything's stressful and it's not how I want to be, but this is the road I'm taking, because I know this is the road to where I want to be in that vision.
Wow.
And that was, like I say, at the time I had a little snigger, a little laugh, because I'd never really heard anyone talk about stuff like that. But then as I got to know you more and learn more about that, I was like, yeah, it's not about picturing it and wishing it and then magically it's going to come to you. It is that self-belief, isn't it? And it's that it's just the clarity to take you from where you are at point A to point B. And
I love that.
yeah.
Well, I love the fact that you've been sat there thinking, who the fuck, what the hell is she going on about?
She's on the stage in New York. She's from what she's doing.
But you got up the next day and started practicing it, right? Because it's about embodying. That's what you're talking about. We have to embody and change our belief system, and so it is. So it manifests. And that's what you're doing. So you are informing your beliefs of what you want to have happen. So then you take the inspired action, then it manifests in reality, right? Now you've got a court, you're a PT, qualified PT trainer, and you have your own health and wellness coaching business, right? It didn't just happen by magic, you manifested it.
And yeah, and I think that was the piece that was always missing for me, because I'd done a lot of work on myself over the years because of the anxiety I suffered with. You know, God, years ago when there wasn't even really the internet, having to get books, I tried hypnotherapy, I tried, you know, CBT, I did all sorts. And so I knew a lot of the things you should do, but the pieces were never pulled together. And that was the key, was that how to really get that self-belief. And I know you talk about, obviously the imposter doesn't go away, but you can shut the little sod down, can't you? Like, but that was the thing before. It would be like, you need to believe in yourself, you need to believe in yourself, you need to think positive, make it happen, does it? Whereas now it's like you've joined all the dots together, and I can go, right, okay, yeah, all right, I think I'm having a bit of doubt about that, and I'm questioning it and thinking, oh, are they for real, and can I believe what they're saying, this and that? But then I can go, okay, that's just, and the protection thing, that's the big thing. Do you know, and I'm like, no, that's because in my mind I still have that thought that I'm going to be let down, I'm going to be disappointed, I'm going to, you know, fail, because that's who I am, because that's what some stupid kid told us when I was 7 years old. So, but now it's like, actually, I understand the process, and I know that that's happening there, but I'm on my path to that point there, and
amazing.
all part of the process to get there.
Oh, I love this. This is absolutely amazing. I'm just going to check in on some of the comments. So Jane is saying, I feel like I'm drowning. Losing both parents during pandemic has devastated my world. Yeah, I'm totally lost. I care of his SD son, searching to reinvent self, be happy. It's all come to a head. And then, yeah, Donna's just saying, you might have replied to that. Did you do? Yeah, Jane, did you do the self-doubt all-out challenge? Were you in that challenge? Just let us know. Naomi's saying, I feel like that and I'm 33. I think just with what you were saying, Donna used to get so triggered by confident women.
Yeah, I mean, comparisonitis is a huge thing. When I was at work, lots of the people around me were really young, and God, you know, that did make you question yourself, especially being older. You know, I was in a very young environment. Or just, do I need staff?
Naomi's like, oh, do you want to hire me?
DM Naomi, yeah. Yeah, but I can't remember the name of who was it who put on the comment about losing Jane. Yeah. Obviously, I know you lost your mum recently as well. Like I say, I lost my mum at the same time. My dad was undergoing radiotherapy for cancer, and it is really tough. But you know, I have really found that working on me has helped with the grief and the acceptance. And again, I always remember something you taught about, you know, there's loads of different ways you can deal with anything, whether it is losing somebody or just, you know, any other challenge that you've got in your life. But the way that you choose to handle it, like, really can make a big difference to how you cope with, especially the emotional side of it and the mental side of it. So yeah, I think there's obviously lots that you've got going on, but you can really help, to balance some of the things that you'll be struggling with.
Yeah, Jane, I've lost 3 family members in the last 3 years. So my dad died, and then my brother died, and then my mum died. So I hear you. But Donna's just saying there, DM us, or somebody in the team's answering. So just DM us, Jane, and we'll give you access to the replays. So the Self-Doubt All-Out group that we've just done is still open till the 31st of January, which is Monday, Jane. So you'll be able to go and check out the learning, and it will help you, okay? Little gift for you today. We'll pay it forward. Naomi's just saying she feels like she should be older to become a coach. That's a limiting belief there, Naomi.
Yeah.
So, Donna and I have been on, as part of Nick's program, our coach, we've had sessions with some women in her mastermind, in her coaching programs. One was 19. She was fabulous. She lives in Hawaii.
I know.
To Hawaii. She was 19 years old. I learned loads from her. Age is just bullshit, basically, Naomi. Bullshit.
Definitely.
So what would you say, just to wrap up, because we've still, the Really Online program is still available to purchase for £97 a month for 12 months up until Friday. And we've got an absolutely stonking thing that we are launching tomorrow, which is a total surprise for everyone that buys. So what would you say as a piece of advice to anyone who is sitting on the fence wondering if it's right for them?
Well, obviously, I've got to say, you just do it, in the words of Nike. But, you know, that's because you can't put a price on it. And I remember when I had a call with Donna to talk through the program, I had no idea about the price, the expectation. You know, it was just so new to me. And I thought, oh my God, this is such a lot of money. You didn't do the monthly payment options then, which obviously now is incredible. But that was, like I said, taking that first step forward to decide to invest in me. Honestly, like, if you've been listening through it, you've heard it's changed my life. And yes, maybe I might have still changed in some ways without you guys. I truly don't believe I would have, because you really did open my eyes to so many things. So I just think, you know, we have all got one life, and we don't want to hang around. And it's not about, you know, oh, well, I'll do it next year, because that doesn't happen. We all know, you say you're going to go on a diet on Monday, it doesn't happen. You're going to go to the gym on Monday, it doesn't happen. You just literally have to go, no, now is the time for me to invest. Because you know, the program might seem daunting to some people. They might think, oh, I don't have time, because I talk about this, time is obviously a big thing people have. But God, like, I haven't even worked through half of the program yet. But for me, those monthly coaching calls are like invaluable. What you're getting from there with what you guys do in the call, but what you hear with the other women in the call as well, like that in itself, an hour a month, you know, and what time you can find to work through at your own pace, when you want, how you want. Like, you need to invest in you, because what you will get out of it, you can't even picture yet.
Yeah.
It's just untapped, unthought of. So, you know, you're just going to have your eyes opened massively to a new way of thinking and feeling. And I know so many women have literally changed their lives through working with you. So hopefully that's enough to help anyone on the fence.
Thank you so much. I've loved this. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. We're gonna end the live. I'm gonna stay on with Nicola a minute. And so yeah, you've got until Friday to join Nicola. Like, look at Nicola, right? Just look at her. Look at her aura, look at her energy. She went from being crippled for 20 years with major anxiety, not living her life, and now at the age of 45 has set up her own business, has found who she is, and is living her best life. Like, yay.
That, I mean, for £1,000, God, I would have thought I'd had to win the lottery to get that.
Exactly. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Guys, we will be back 6 p.m. tomorrow, where we are going to be announcing something, mic drop, boom, to you all at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure you join me and Donna on our channels. And thank you all. Thanks for all your comments. You've had loads of lovely comments, Nicola.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you later. Thanks, guys.